Wow, guys, I have been robbed all of my youth in not seeing From Dusk Till Dawn until literally 5 days ago. I do not know how I've gone so long without seeing that film. It blows my mind. It's always been one that's been on my list, but I just never got round to it. But me and my aunt's fiance recently sat down and he was just like, "You've got to see this film." And I was like, I know I do got to see this film, but I haven't seen it yet. So we were just like, fuck it. You know what? It's 2 p.m. on a Monday. We're both off work. Let's just do this shit. Let's sit down, shut the curtains, and see what this is all about. And I do have to say right off the bat, I really enjoyed this film. And if you are into the niche category of nightclub vampires, you're gonna love this film. What I will say though is I was told, and I haven't seen this one yet, but I'm gonna definitely see it now, is there's a film, I believe it's just called Vamp. I think it's from like the mid to maybe late 80s. I could be wrong, but I know it's in the 80s. And that is a film that I believe, you know, takes on the topic of nightclub vampires, you know, possibly luring people in. And, you know, it's thought of, I don't know whether this is confirmed. I don't know whether Tarantino said anything about this or anyone, but it was said to me anyway that, you know, it's very obvious that From Dusk Till Dawn must have taken a fair bit of inspiration from that film. So that is next on my list. If you want me to review that, then I will also do that. I probably will just review it anyway. But yeah, getting into From Dusk Till Dawn, I think the plot of this film is really good on its own, first half and second half. You know, the plot of the film without the twist that we get in the later half of the film, I think is really good and actually just enjoyable in itself. But I think that's also a credit to Tarantino. You know, he's very good at making films with criminal activity in it seems. But yeah, he just gets it right, and it's absolutely no different in this film. I heard that some people that did just watch it blind and didn't watch like the trailers or anything when it came out wasn't too much of a fan of the twist. You know, for the second part of the film to just switch up the way that it does, and we're just completely in a different movie, it feels like at times, but not in a bad way in my opinion. You know, what I will say is I do understand why some people would have had those thoughts. I can see where it comes from, because the first half was just so enjoyable to follow on its own. You know, it had a perfect amount of comedy with suspense and knowing that, you know, these two brothers are actually very dangerous. Getting on to the two brothers who essentially lead the film, Tarantino is very good in this. So is George Clooney though. They both do fit very well as brothers, and Tarantino's character Richie is a dark character. You know, that guy's got some like demons. Yeah, he has real issues, and I mean, he's a live wire constantly. And it's annoying because Richie does have some really funny lines in this film. But yeah, the actions that he can just commit out of nowhere are just horrific. And they, as I said, they just happen in an instant. The more controlled, smart, calculated criminal that is Seth in this film, I think George Clooney plays his character very well. You know, from the lines that are written to the line delivery, it's all done so well, and it really, you don't have trouble getting immersed in this film. And yeah, the journey that they then end up taking, obviously with the family, with the legend Harvey Keitel, and Juliette Lewis as well, I noticed in the cast. I didn't know the son. I don't know who he is, so apologies if he's somebody really big. I don't recognize him from a film in particular, but he was good in this film as well. But yeah, like Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis were yeah, they were great in this film. And yeah, the journey we do take with that family is enjoyable. There's some funny moments, there's some not so great moments. But yeah, the funny moments and just these like little wins / conflicts that they all have are what like really keeps you going in the film as we're getting to the second half. But yeah, then we get into the second half of the movie, and this is where things really change. So the twist, the obvious twist that if you've watched this, you know. I liked the twist. I completely didn't really expect it. You know, when Salma Hayek's character starts kind of twitching out when she sees Richie bleeding. Obviously, this is all going to be spoilers, and this has been kind of spoilers. But yeah, I thought the twist was good, and I thought that when it really got into it, it was great. It had me hooked like it did the beginning, just for different reasons. But yeah, we do have to mention, obviously, Salma Hayek in this film is... she's like hypnotic in the obvious scene that I'm sure a lot of us remember. This is one of those films where when you watch it, if you're like a real like movie guy and you like your music, you will have this soundtrack on in your car or wherever. I know I have. Literally anytime I drop my girlfriend off to work, it's, you know, Straight Off and After Dark by, I think the band is Tito and the Tarantulas, who is the band that are actually playing in the film for a little while as well. Yeah, you know, they're really great. Some of the music in this film is brilliant, so the soundtrack does not disappoint. The appearances of the vampires and the other, like, bat kind of vampires, I thought it was great. I thought it was really scary looking, you know. I think the real life vampires, it kind of reminded me of, like, the Lost Boys, you know, kind of feel to it. But the bat ones, I thought they looked fucking horrifying and they were really freaking me out. And yeah, the way it plays out, I just did not expect so many people to die, especially of like our main group of characters. And, you know, for Richie to go as quick as he did, I didn't expect that. I wasn't too happy when it did happen because, you know, I have been finding Richie quite funny in the film up until that point. So part of me does wish he made it longer to see what would have kind of happened. But, you know, Seth really steps up then, and so does Harvey Keitel's character. Yeah, they're essentially all just picked off until it is George Clooney and Juliette Lewis, and that's kind of where it then ends. They, you know, hatch up their plan, and they get out of there. And I thought the ending of this movie was a little bit abrupt, or just like, it cuts away so quick, but for this film, I didn't necessarily mind that. I just, for some reason, had it, like, thought out in my head that George Clooney and Juliette Lewis were going to kind of go off together. You know, not necessarily as partners or anything like that, but maybe as just two people that have been through this fucked up experience that no one's going to relate to. You know, they've both lost all the family that they have. And, you know, I thought they'd have just kind of maybe gone off in the same direction. But yeah, I'm not mad at the way it ends at all. It just is a bit like, okay, we're done. But yeah, when we get that pan out then and we see like the back of the Titty Twister nightclub, you know, and we see all the like RVs, all these like vans and stuff that's just been, it's very obvious that this has been going on for decades, centuries, I don't know how long. I know there's also a number 2 and 3 to this. I believe number 3 goes through Salma Hayek's like prequel almost, which I'm quite interested in watching that one. Number 2, maybe not as much. I know Danny Trejo's character in this film, I think he may be in all 3, if not he's in 2 of them. He plays like a bartender in the first one. But yeah, the backstory of Salma Hayek's character, who I believe her name is Satanico Pandemonium, which is a cool name. But yeah, seeing her like prequel is something that I'm quite interested in doing, and I may possibly, you know, pick up in the future. But if I'm watching number 3, I may as well watch number 2 as well. So yeah, I'll probably give them all a nice little watch. And yeah, my thoughts on this film is that I see it as a classic now, and it's one that I'm definitely going to go back to. It's one that I'm going to recommend to people for sure. So yeah, if you've watched this far and you haven't seen the film, I know I've basically spoiled a lot for you, but still go and watch this film. I think you're going to really enjoy it regardless. It's a really good watch. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next